Most football players think they're one big breakthrough away from becoming a much better player, a better first touch, a better weak foot, a new training program, more confidence. But what if the thing holding you back isn't one big problem? What if it's 10 small mistakes that happen every single game? Because that's usually how football works. Most players don't fail because they're terrible. They fail because they're leaking performance everywhere. A poor body position here, a missed scan there, a rushed decision, a lazy recovery run, a moment of frustration after a mistake. Each one seems small, but when you stack those mistakes together over 90 minutes, football starts feeling harder than it should. The game feels faster. You lose the ball more. You get fewer touches. You feel less confident. And eventually you start believing you're not improving. Today, I'm going to show you 5 invisible mistakes that make football far harder than it needs to be. And the scary part, most players don't even realize they're making them. Let's start with the biggest one. Problem reframe. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes when evaluating their game. They judge football through outcomes. Did I complete the pass? Did I score? Did I lose possession? Did we win? But elite players pay attention to something different. They focus on the decisions that created those outcomes. Because football isn't just a game of execution, it's a game of preparation. And many players are making bad decisions before they even touch the ball. Which leads us to mistake number 1. Mistake number 1. Playing reactive football. Most players spend entire matches reacting. The ball arrives. Then they think. Pressure arrives. Then they think. A teammate moves. Then they think. The problem is that football happens too fast for that. By the time you're making your decision, you're already late. Watch top players closely. They don't seem calm because they have more time. They seem calm because they've already prepared their next action. Before receiving the ball, they've already checked their shoulder. They already know where pressure is. They already know where their next pass might go. Meanwhile, the average player receives the ball first and starts collecting information afterward. That's like taking an exam before reading the questions. And here's what happens. You take extra touches. You hesitate. You panic under pressure. The game feels fast, but the game isn't necessarily fast. You're just arriving late mentally. The solution: start treating every moment without the ball as preparation time. Every few seconds, ask yourself, if I receive the ball now, what am I doing? That single habit can instantly make football feel slower. Mistake number 2. Standing in good positions for yourself instead of good positions for others. This one frustrates players more than almost anything. You've probably said this before. Why won't they pass me? Maybe they should. But often there's another issue. You're positioning yourself based on what looks good to you, not what looks available to your teammate. There's a huge difference. Imagine your teammate is under pressure. You think you're open, but from their angle, you're hidden behind a defender. You can see them. They can't see you. This happens constantly. The best players aren't just finding space. They're finding visible space. Space that can actually be accessed. Space that creates an obvious passing lane. Football becomes much easier when teammates can find you quickly. And here's the hidden benefit. The more available you appear, the more teammates trust you. The more they trust you, the more touches you get. The more touches you get, the better you play. One small positioning adjustment can completely change your involvement in a match. Mistake number 3. Treating every touch like it's equally important. Most players think football is about maximizing every touch. It's not. Football is about maximizing the important touches. Think about it. A centre-back might complete 60 passes. A midfielder might complete 70 points. But one decision under pressure can change the entire match. The mistake is spending too much mental energy on routine moments and not enough on decisive moments. Elite players understand context. Sometimes the safest pass is correct. Sometimes the risky pass is correct. Sometimes keeping possession is valuable. Sometimes attacking quickly is valuable. Football intelligence isn't knowing one answer. It's knowing which answer fits the situation. This is why copying professional decisions without understanding context rarely works. The same pass can be brilliant in one moment and terrible in another. So instead of asking, "What should I do?" start asking, "What does this situation require?" That shift alone can massively improve your decision making. Mistake number 4. Letting one bad moment control the next 10 minutes. This mistake destroys more performances than poor technique. A bad pass, a missed shot, a mistake that leads to a goal, and suddenly the player disappears. They stop demanding the ball. They play safe. Their confidence collapses. Here's the reality. Every footballer makes mistakes. Even elite professionals lose possession, misplace passes, miss chances. The difference is what happens next. Average players carry mistakes forward. Elite players isolate them. They treat mistakes like individual events, not evidence about who they are, because football punishes emotional carryover. One mistake becomes two becomes 5, and suddenly a decent game turns into a terrible one. The next time you make a mistake, try this. Immediately focus on your next action, not the last one. Win the next duel, make the next run, demand the next pass. Football rewards recovery more than perfection, and players who recover quickly improve far faster. Mistake number 5. Training skills without training decisions. This might be the most important mistake in the entire video. A player spends hours practicing, passing, shooting, dribbling, first touch. Everything looks great. Then match day arrives, and somehow none of it transfers. Why? Because football skills don't exist in isolation. In matches, every skill lives inside a decision. The pass isn't difficult because of the technique. It's difficult because you must choose the right pass under pressure. The first touch isn't difficult because controlling the ball is hard. It's difficult because you must control it while processing information. Many players train execution. Very few train perception and decision making. And that's why improvement feels slow. You become technically better, but not functionally better. The solution is simple. Add decision making to your training. Create restrictions. Create pressure. Create choices. Instead of repeating actions mindlessly, ask yourself, what information am I reading? What options am I considering? What decision am I making? Because football isn't just about what your feet can do. It's about what your brain can recognize. Practical application. So how do you actually apply all this? Here's a simple challenge for your next match. Don't try to fix everything. Choose one mistake. Just one. Maybe it's scanning before receiving. Maybe it's recovering quickly after mistakes. Maybe it's improving your positioning. Focus on that one area for the entire game. After the match, don't judge yourself based on goals or assists. Judge yourself based on whether you executed that habit. Then repeat the process next week. Most players overwhelm themselves by trying to improve everything at once. The best players improve one layer at a time. And over months, those layers stack. The results become impossible to ignore, because football improvement is rarely dramatic. It's usually invisible, until suddenly it isn't. Here's what I want you to remember. The players who improve fastest aren't always the most talented. They aren't always the strongest. They aren't always the fastest. They're usually the players who remove friction. They stop making football harder than it needs to be. They arrive prepared. They position themselves intelligently. They recover from mistakes quickly. They train decisions, not just skills. And every small improvement compounds. That's how confidence grows. That's how consistency develops. That's how average players become standout players. Not through one magical breakthrough, but through hundreds of small advantages stacked over time. So the next time football feels difficult, don't immediately assume you need more talent. Ask a better question. What invisible mistake am I repeating? Because once you find it, everything starts getting easier. If you enjoyed this video and want more football Development content focused on the hidden reasons players struggle. Subscribe and let me know in the comments which of these mistakes shows up most often in your game, and more importantly, which one are you fixing first?